people looks like. Show me what power looks like. Show me what democracy looks like. Show me what democracy looks like. Show me what the people look like. Show me what power looks like. One struggle, one fight, climate justice, human rights. One struggle, one fight, climate justice, human rights. Du och jag är antifascister. Alla här är antiimperialister. Du och jag. You say now, boycott, boycott. When I say freedom, you say now, freedom, freedom. When I say justice, you say now, justice, justice. When I say boycott, you say.
So what we've seen here is a video of Greta Thunberg protesting the Israeli genocide of Palestinians. And that's a good thing, because the more attention there is on it, the better. The more awareness there is, the more likely sooner or later something is going to get done. And a lot of people suspect, and I've had people tell me they think that Israel's crossed the Rubicon with this, and it's probably in the end going to be over for them. Although personally, I don't know how their economy is even holding together at this point. But what I did want to talk about was Greta Thunberg herself, and looking at how the media has just completely done a 180 on her. Now they're like attacking her, saying that, saying all kinds of negative things, and that she's a bad person. She's influenced by Hamas, and basically everything. And what's funny is watching the right-wingers not be able to understand this. Because Greta Thunberg is like this big tool that's being used by big green energy to make us eat bugs and support the globalist. And by the way, at this point, when somebody uses the word globalist unironically, I instantly just consider them an idiot. Because nobody can even define what a globalist is. Because there really is no such thing. It's just a boogeyman that's invented to scare people. You talk to one group, the globalists are communists. You talk to another group, they're fascists. You talk to another one, it's the liberal elite who trafficking children. No one can figure out what it is because it doesn't exist. But that's just the thing. Of course, Greta Thunberg is a product of capitalism and capitalist interests. I mean, that's very obvious. See, the thing is, there are sections of the capitalist class that genuinely do believe that global warming is a real thing and that it's a real danger, and it actually is killing people right now, and it will destroy the entire planet. See, a lot of them happen to be insurance companies. The insurance companies have to keep paying out for damages from weather that normally would not be happening, from wildfires that normally would not be happening, or are not happening according to many people. So it's in their interest to push back against it so that they'll have to pay out, and it's, profit motive, etc. And there's a bunch of them that kind of realize that there's no profit in the absolute end of the world, which is why countries don't nuke each other, and why I really do believe there was never going to be a nuclear war between the United States and the Soviet Union, because nobody had an interest in destroying the entire planet. It would not have made any money. But we can see with the media turning on Greta Thunberg, it's because she's not following the interests necessarily of the capitalist class, and that is the continued existence of Israel as an illegitimate state, because it is the strongest and most highly protected ally of basically Western imperialism. I mean, Israel is America. When you fundamentally break it down to its components, yeah, it is America. It is a white settler colonial people butchering off the indigenous and then claiming that the land was theirs. Manifest destiny is no different than claiming that, oh, God promised us it in the Torah or whatever, even though it doesn't actually say that. And it very specifically says that the Jewish people are the caretakers, not owners. And the word Israel does not refer to a country or a piece of land, but refers to the collection of the Jewish people together. And that Judaism is not a race, it's a religious cultural group. Nobody's born genetically a religion. That's just absolute nonsense. In fact, that's pretty much Nazi race thinking, because that's what they believed. They believed that there was a Jewish race and that that race was blah, 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 Nazi BS. But so you can see, because a lot of right-wingers got really confused about why all of a sudden the media doesn't like her. Like, yeah, she's the globalist, blah, blah, blah. Wait a minute. Now the media is attacking her. I am confused. I do not understand. She was Tool, now is not Tool. I do not know. That's because you don't understand, literally don't understand how institutions of power work. You don't get how the world actually functions. You don't get how information is put out there. You do not understand systems. So you get confused when stuff like this comes along because you don't know what to do. Let me extend this into something else. RT. RT was at one point hands down the best news organization in the entire world. Like completely, literally the absolute best. And it was the best because it talked about things that the mainstream media in the Western world were not talking about. That was kind of the genius of RT, was that they didn't have to lie. All they had to tell you was the information that the Western mainstream media, the imperialist countries, were not telling you. All they had to do was fill in the gaps. There was it wasn't necessary to just lie the way, the Western aligned media. I'm not going to say capitalist aligned media because they're both capitalist. I mean, I think people forgot that Russia is a capitalist country and Putin is not a savior. He's literally an oligarch himself. For all the talk against millionaires and billionaires, they, just somehow managed to forget about him and forget that Xi Jinping is a multimillionaire as well. And that somehow, yes, these capitalists are out for the good of everyone, even though capitalism is not the good for everyone, yet both the countries are capitalist, and that just seemingly just gets ignored. Anyway, RT now, honestly, is god-awful. It's frankly at the point where it's now idiotic. Ever since the war in Ukraine started, RT just went straight to garbage. It's now literally just parrot whatever Putin wants you to hear and then push conspiracy theories in the US. I mean, there is a lot of actual Russian disinformation coming into the media, just as there's a lot of US misinformation going into Russia and particularly the Baltic countries. The difference is the US is standing there saying, Putin's a tyrant, he's a murderer, guilty of genocide, blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, what you've got is like Russian aligned media pushing conspiracy theories. And of course, conspiracy theories have always been mostly a uniquely American thing, other than, long-standing Jewish conspiracies. But America's always been very long-standing on conspiracy theories in general. And to push that, to encourage that, is very, very simple. All you really have to do is just exaggerate and make connections that don't exist. I'll give you an example. There was a blog, and if I manage to find it again, I'll put a screenshot of it up here, where it claimed that nurses in the NHS, the National Health Service in the UK, were going to be able to refuse medical care to anyone who wasn't woke. Of course, they provided absolutely no evidence of this whatsoever. What they pointed to was changes in, how services are basically given out. And what they specifically point to is that if someone is basically abusive to the nurse, the nurse can refuse to treat them. Another nurse can also do it. But all it's really saying is that if you abuse, verbally or physically abuse a nurse, they have the right not to help you. Like, this literally has nothing to do with woke at all. It has nothing to do with values. It's actually completely fabricated. Like, there's no connection between the two things at all. And it even cites this phony human rights activist, which is literally just an anti-woke mouthpiece. That doesn't make you it doesn't make you some kind of saint or savior. But you see how it is. Just take things that have no connection whatsoever and then just connect them together. I mean, that's literally how conspiracy theories work. That's what a lot of the conspiracy of the woke mob going to do this or going to do that. And there's frankly no such thing. They've been claiming this kind of thing since the 1950s, when women wanted to have rights equal to men, or black people wanted to have rights equal to white people. That kind of same nonsense has been repeated over and over again. But we're looking at the same thing right now. These completely baseless claims, like America's going to turn into a communist country. Like, that is an absolute laughable idea coming from, an actual communist. America's not going to turn communist. America would have to be destroyed first, and then a new country be built, and that one could potentially be communist. But there is no America's going to turn into a communist country overnight. I mean, that's just idiotic conspiracy thinking. Like, remember when FEMA was going to kill us all under Obama? They had the FEMA camps and they were going to lock us all up and they were going to persecute Christians, according to many of the conspiracy people. And Alex Jones himself said that this was coming and that regular God-fearing Christians were going to be persecuted, which never happened. And in fact, these very right-wing, very radical ones control a lot of institutions of power and are literally rewriting history and deleting the fact that Native genocide happened, and some of them even outright trying to write new textbooks where slavery just is completely forgotten about. But here's the thing. I miss the old RT, the RT that was good, the RT that spoke about things that we didn't hear about, and not something, and they still kind of do that to a degree, but it's at the point now where it's basically unwatchable. It's just absolutely terrible. It's like pseudo conspiracy nonsense, hyped up with basically whatever Putin wants them to say. But the only saving grace for RT is the fact that they're against Israel's genocide of the Palestinian people. That's about really the only good thing there is about it. And that really is a shame, because what RT was what I wanted Press TV to be. I mean, it was just so good. And now RT, it just sucks. Ever since this war started, and it went from being a platform that talked about stuff you needed to know that you weren't being told, to literally, yes, just Kremlin propaganda. And to a degree that's understandable. They are at war, so that naturally would happen. But there was no reason to kill off what made RT really good. That now it's like you've got like their regular reporters on there basically dog whistling conspiracy theories, and that's garbage. That really is garbage. So those were my thoughts on that. It's not surprising that Greta Thunberg is being attacked now, and lamenting the loss of the RT that we all really wanted. And the RT that it could be again. But this war, this fight between Eastern capitalists and Western capitalists. Oh, I mean, multipolarity, as if Lenin didn't already write a thing against this, which, basically everybody forgot about. And frankly, this multipolarity is not going to make things easier for a revolution in the third world. That's absolutely not. That's complete nonsense. That's not going to happen. That's not going to benefit. Wow, more capitalist powers. That ought to make socialism better. And the fact that that's never been the case. But yeah, it's not surprising what's happening to Greta Thunberg, and I miss the old RT. Thank you for watching. If you like this program, then please head over to my Patreon page and set up a monthly donation. It's your donations that keep this program running. Also, if you would like, please rate, comment, subscribe, and share in various social media.